So I have a lot to show you, you guys. So let's start. Okay, so first I am going to start with the Hyacinth Beans. I started these guys on the 24th of March and they have been here since then. I divided the plants from when they were the tiny little plugs, and I put each individual in these containers. However, they have outgrown their space here and I switched them to these guys. These are about the same size, the solo cup here. I did have these guys from last year where I bought some annuals and I saved the containers. If you're starting seeds indoors, you definitely want to be doing the same thing. Save everything that you can get your hands on as far as containers that you buy, perennials or annuals, and all of that good stuff. So I haven't potted up these guys because I ran out of solo cups and other containers, so I am going to be doing that next, but I just wanted to show you how they're looking. Isn't this crazy? I think that my room where I have these guys growing is a little too warm for them. I mean, they're loving it, and that's why they're going crazy fast growing. I mean, look at this, they're already fighting each other. So hopefully they can stay here a couple of more weeks. And right here I have the Jicamas. Look at that, you guys. They are going crazy as well. The Jicamas, I started them on the 7th of March, and this is all the growth that I have. This is probably the longest ones. Oh, this is probably the longest one. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So I am hoping to pot these up as well. I am not going to show you that. You know how to pot things up. If you have questions about that, let me know, or just watch some of my past videos. And here I have Marigolds that I started on the 15th of March. They were started in smaller containers and they were transferred here. Look how gorgeous they are. They're doing beautiful. Oh, they're amazing. Here I have a few things. I have some dill that I started on the 24th of March. Look at that. Gorgeous. I have 3 plants there. I have some Dusty Miller that was started on the 10th of February. I have most of my Dusty Miller outside already, just hanging out in the little containers trying to get acclimated to the outdoor conditions. However, this guy right here, because it's next to some salvia, I kept it in here. So that's how it's doing. And I have some cherry or currant tomatoes. They are looking a little yellowish. They have been getting 2 doses of fertilizer. You saw that before, how I did that. And I don't know what the deal is. They will be getting potted up. I have to get more solo cups somewhere or look in my garage for bigger containers. But this is how they're looking like. And these were started on the 4th of March. This is where I wish that I had one of those nicer set of trays, you know, the bootstrap trays. They are expensive, but they are worth it. These things are so flimsy that I don't know if it's in my budget this year to invest in some of those, but that will be so much easier. I mean, this thing is just crazy. Anyway. Over here I have tomatoes. I have different varieties. As you can see, they have some of these yellow leaves going. I don't know why. Other than that, I mean, they look very healthy. I definitely need to pot these guys up. I can already see the roots at the bottom. They grow like crazy, especially if you give them a little bit of warmth. I have a fan going here all day. Just I point it in different directions sometimes. And they're looking very healthy actually. I have a bunch of Gara that I potted up to these containers. These are solo cups. They do have a drainage at the bottom. Don't forget that. The Gara was started on the 10th of February as well. And it's doing amazing. And here I have a couple of cannas. Do actually have a bunch more cannas. I have a lot of them, and because they're in solo cups, I can just fit them here and there so they're not in the same tray. What I have found is that if I have a bunch of solo cups in one tray, by the time that I move them in these flimsy trays, they're kind of like going everywhere. But if I have them here and there in between the square containers, then they do better when moving them around. But the cannas were started on the 15th of March as well. Look at that. They're gorgeous. Some people ask me, how do you know when they need to be potted up? Well, if the roots of the plant, if you take out the roots, for example, this is really wet, but if you take out the roots of the plant and you see that they're really busy in there, and like this tomato is ready to be potted up. It looks good, but I have about 2, possibly 3 more weeks here. I just want to give them a good chance. So I'm going to pot them up to something bigger where I just remove these 3 sets of leaves and all of this plant will be buried there. So that's how I decide when to pot my things up. Some other people might do it differently. That's just how it works for me. But to show you, the cannas are doing great. The ones that are not doing so great are, again, these are all cherry tomatoes. I don't know, last year I tried cherries, they didn't do very well. And obviously, I mean, I don't know. I'm still going to keep on going with this because they might just take off after, you know, they're outside. And it might just be the variety that is just doing not so good. And here I have more salvia, scarlet sage salvia that was started on the 10th of February. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a bunch of these tomatoes. They're going crazy. They love it here. Some varieties of tomatoes from growing them last year from seed and also growing them this year, I noticed that some of them are just going to do better than others. See this right here? I don't know if you can see these 3 right here. These 3 are from one variety. They are really struggling. These are my big rainbows here. And on the other side, see these guys? They are nice and thick and gorgeous. This is Cherokee purple. Just to show you, they're not all going to do, or they're not going to do the same. And it just depends on the kind of tomato, I guess. But these guys are going to be potted up into these guys. I just want to give them a lot of extra room. The solo cups that I have here, it's not quite that much extra. And if I keep them here for 2 to 3 weeks, I just want to give them enough space so they can just spread and do well. Let me take one out for you. So if you see right here, this Cherokee purple is definitely needing for more room. You see that? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this branch and this little guy here who just was extra. So I'm just going to leave these 3 branches up here, and I'm going to pot it up right here. This one and this one are going to be gone, and then I'll just have this. And the plant is just going to have all of that extra room there to keep going. I'm going to use whatever potting mix that I can find available. Although I found a really good deal at Menards for some Pro Mix that it's So far I'm loving it. I'll show you that here in a minute, hopefully. But these are the ones that I ordered from Amazon, and these are actually really, really sturdy. They're supposed to be half a gallon, but I think they look pretty big to me. Anyway, I will have links for these in the description. So if you want to look at them, I mean, I know I can use this year after year because the plastic is just really strong. So that's that for my tomatoes. And it's always a mess. Get it out of the frame, out of the frame. I think that's out of the frame. Okay, for right now anyway. Okay, so these right here, you guys, these are bunny tails. Aren't they gorgeous? They were started on the 15th of March. That's right, March. Look at that. They're beautiful. Really excited for these guys. Here's my lemongrass that was started on the 15th of February. And it has been potted up once. And look at that. It's just doing amazing. This is thyme and herb that it smells amazing. And it was started on the 15th of March. And it's doing very well, actually. I'm glad that I started later this year because last year it was like this tall about this time. And I knew it was just too big. So right now it has a couple more weeks and it's just going to be great by the time that I transplant it outside. Let me show you all the basil, you guys. Basil, it's doing amazing. Just awesome. I have purple basil, Mamolo basil, Genovese basil, and it's doing great. And basil was started on the 15th of March. I overseeded smaller plugs. I overseeded a lot of them, and then I just divided them when it was time to pot them up. And I think actually they probably will be able to stay there for a while until they're ready to be transplanted outside. So I have a few things going on here. These two in the front here are bunny tails as well. They're doing great. These three right here in the front are corn cockle. They're doing really well. Look at that. They almost look like Gara. And right here in this lonely corner here, it's my only one milkweed. The milkweed was started on the 15th of March, and out of 6, it was the only one that came up. So it's the only plant that I have. And the corn cockle was started on the 15th as well. Everything here was started on the 15th of March. So these are all my nasturtiums, you guys. I have close to 30 plants here. My idea originally was to thin them out. I planted 2 or 3 seeds per container, smaller containers, and I was supposed to just thin them out and leave the good ones go and grow. However, I just could not get myself to kill the other plants, and I almost have not, and I had about 90% of germination, even with some of the seeds here are from 2 years ago. I have 4 types of nasturtiums. If you want to see what types and how I did it, you can go ahead and check my past videos. I will have a link and a playlist in the description as well. But all of these nasturtiums were started on the 22nd of March. They were starting in smaller containers and they were potted up into solo cups, and they will be here until they're ready to be transplanted outside. But look at this. Look at that. Oh, some of them are just so freaking gorgeous, like the color of the leaves. This one is dark color leaves. Look at this one. This one has side shoots already coming here. how can I kill something like this? I just can't. So I have a lot of nasturtiums. Over here, I have Snapdragons. These were the second set of Snapdragons that I started as a second time, because if you remember the first time that I started them, they really look hideous. So this is the second set. I divided them already. I moved them into bigger containers and they're doing great. I actually will be taking these outside today so they can slowly harden off and get acclimated to the outdoor conditions. What I do is that I just take them into the shade about an hour, then I bring them inside, and the next day I take them out maybe a couple more hours during the shade, and then I give them a few minutes in the direct sunlight, and then I take them inside, and then on and on. I allow them to be outside longer and longer. The biggest thing with having these outside all at once is just that the sunlight can really kill them right away. So if you put them in the sunlight directly, just do not give them too much time at once. Slowly and gently let them get acclimated. As far as these going outside, my biggest worry is not temperature, but direct sunlight. And over here, got more nasturtiums, of course. I have zinnias, you guys. I started zinnias. I did not do a video, but I started them on the 8th of April, so only a few days ago. And look, what I'm going to do is I'll probably divide these guys. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I can either divide them into bigger containers, and by bigger containers I mean something like this. I don't know yet. I might just thin them out, and then I might just actually thin them out. I'm not too, worry about zinnias as much as I am with nasturtiums, because zinnias grow super quick. If they die on me, I can just start new ones. So what I think that I'm going to do is that I might just start a second round here soon, and I might just thin this out and let them be here in these containers. But look, they're doing just great. And over here I have straw flowers. And I am not sure why, but maybe you guys that have experience with straw flowers can help me out. I have been giving them plenty of water, and they have plenty of sun, plenty of light. They still look like they're a little too wrinkly, like they need water, but they really do not need water. So I am taking, this is not a straw flower, this is actually corn cockle. See how healthy this looks? I mean, the leaves, they're not the same, but see what I mean? They look a little like they need something, or they have too much something. I'm giving them a break with water for a little bit. I wonder if they just have too much water. And the straw flowers were started on the 15th of March as well, in smaller containers, and they were potted up here a couple of weeks later. And over here I have Nicotiana. I did my best trying to leave just a couple of plants there. I mean, they're not going too fast, so I don't know about those. And here I have Crespedia. It's growing nicely. It was potted up a couple of weeks after I started it, and it was started on the 5th of March. It's going well. And over here, I don't know if you remember, but when I started my marigolds, I started some that I had saved seeds from last year, and none of them came up, not one. So I started a bunch more in one container. I seeded it, extra busy in there. These are the seeds that I saved from last year, and I have 2. I probably have like 30 seeds in here, and so far 2. But you know what? 2 is better than nothing. And I started this on the 11th of April, just to see maybe if some of them came up. And over here, I started more Verbena Bonariensis, because the one that I started about a month ago, didn't germinate at all, nothing. So I have more of those going. I did try more bells of Ireland. The bells of Ireland that I have already that germinated, they are outside and they're trying to get a little bit more of the cool weather. I wonder if they were not growing because of the warm room in here. They didn't really go with them. Bells of Ireland are sort of like a cool weather type of plant, so they're outside. And over here, I started more Foxglove, Dalmatian, Peach. Nothing yet. And over here, more star flowers. They look the same. All the star flowers look the same. I don't know what the deal is there. And here, I have mint and something here that germinated. I don't know what that is. Mint was started on the 15th of March. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I cannot wait to put this outside in a container and just have it cover. My idea is to have probably all of them in one container, just covering one container, nothing else on that. And I think that it's just going to look great. And I did pinch it earlier. Oh, it smells so great. And here I have lace flower. From, I believe this one is from Floret. I saw a picture that she had. I had no idea about lace flower, but she had this gorgeous picture there. And I just got a bunch of seeds and they are doing very well. Ow. And lace flower was started on the 5th of March as well. And over here, I have my eucalyptus. Slowly, but it's going there, you guys. And over here, I started a bunch of cosmos. And let me show you. I have some black magic that are coming up nicely. Sometimes I help the seed come off of the plant. Sometimes the actual seed, sometimes the seed shell just kind of lags it. I'll do that later. But anyway, here are the black magic cosmos, which are those chocolate smelling Mexican type of cosmos that they're so hard to find. But I got some seeds and I have about 5 there going. And I have a bunch more here. And over here, I have some regular seashell cosmos from last year. So I gotta divide these guys for sure. And over here, I have some cucamelons that I started on the 8th of April, so only a few days. And these are seeds from 2 years ago. I did not save seeds from them last year. And my goal is just to have 2 plants. And I definitely have that going here. So I'm just going to thin, this one I have 1 there, so that one's good. But here I have 3 of them, so I'm just going to thin them out and probably leave that one and let go of these 2. And 2 is way more than plenty because cucamelons go kind of crazy and 2 is plenty. Okay, so over here I have red spike amaranth that was started on the 24th of March. Look at the color on that, you guys. Isn't that beautiful? I am so excited about this. I hardly have any annuals that are like these dark leaves colors. So exciting. And here I have a Chinese wallflower that was started on the 24th as well. Look at that. And over here I have more Chinese flower, Chinese wallflower. And I have some nasturtiums. And this is the apple seed that my daughter started. And it's going crazy, growing super fast. And we are loving it. And right here, I have more Snapdragons and Coleus, you guys. Look at the Coleus. Coleus was started on the 18th of February, I believe. They were started in smaller containers and then they were transplanted here. But look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? They're beautiful. And I already, you cannot tell, but I already studied the plants and they have like side branches going. So I might have to pot these up at some point because I don't see them hanging there for 2 more weeks. They're not going to go out until it is absolutely safe. And I might just have to pot those up as well. I believe these are all my spicy and sweet peppers. And they are struggling a little bit, you guys. I was watching some videos and pictures from last year, and they're not as healthy looking as they were last year. Obviously, I have different varieties here from last year, but I think that some of that has to do with them needing more room to be spread around. Let me show you one. Look at that. There is definitely a thick wall of roots here going, so I know that these have to be potted up right away. So I am, in the next couple of days, this weekend, I'm just going to be potting up tomatoes and peppers and jicamas and hyacinth beans and coleus, and I can't even remember what else, but I am sure there's more there. I'm sure there are more things there that I need to be potted up. So right now it's just a game of keeping things healthy in their containers with enough room, with enough water, with enough light. I do have a fan, like I mentioned before, going because you definitely want to bring that breeze, and you also want to, you know, try not to keep everything just really wet. So these are my peppers. All my peppers were started on the 10th of February, and they were potted up a couple of weeks later. But here they are. The sugar snap peas, the ones that you eat, I already have them in their big container. I provided a trellis. I made a video about that. They're doing amazing, you guys. Other than adding fertilizer to the potting mix in the big container where I put them, I have not done anything else to them. It has been raining here and there, so I haven't even watered them yet. So that is it for today, you guys. We probably only have a couple more of these seedling updates before I start taking everything outside. The last week of April or the first week of May is when I am safe to be taking things out there. Obviously, I'm going to wait a little bit longer than that. Probably the first week of May will be fine, but I need to start taking these things outside, and that's going to be a process because definitely it's something that you want to keep an eye on because if you take everything out there all at once and you just leave them out there in the full sun and everything, you can easily kill everything. And I have spent so much time, so much money, and so much effort trying to keep these plants alive and prospering that I am not going to risk that. That is a really important time, hardening your plants off so that they can get slowly and gently acclimated outside. So take your time doing that. Ask your neighbors, ask your hubby, ask your partner, whoever is around, ask them around for help. And good luck to everyone. I am hoping to do one more of these next week, but if not, it's because I am super busy trying to get things going outside. On top of doing all of the vegetables outside, I also love the flowers, and I am also taking care of that by myself. So thank you for being here, and until the next video.